Hello, I'm Deborah Curry, the CEO of the FICPA, and today I'm joined by keynote speaker Ted Sarenski and our member, Jim Luffman, a member of the FICPA, and our chairman for the year, Gary Fracassi. And we're going to talk with Ted a little bit about how we can look at the disruptors in our profession and how CPAs can be prepared for that disruption and what they're going to do to put themselves in the forefront of these changes so that we can survive, and not only that, we can prosper in our businesses. So Ted, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
I thought I would let you start with a little bit about disruption and telling us what you see are some of the disruptors. And you mentioned that change is exponential.
Yes.
It's going quickly. And so can you tell us about some of those changes and how you see them affecting what CPAs are doing now?
Certainly. You've seen changes in disruption in many industries as we're going along. Just look at how we used to rent video cassettes, then we got CDs or DVDs in the mail, and now we stream things live, television. In fact, many people today are dropping cable TV altogether and going with streaming services. So that's an example of how things have changed in that industry. And things are changing in the accounting industry as well with artificial intelligence, where tax preparation, audit type work is going to be done by systems rather than by people. And we really need to go from I'll say the working part to a consultative type practice. CPAs need to move into that a more consultative role rather than a doing role, because the doing part is going to be done by the technology. And if we've seen how technology is changing other industries, technology is going to change our industry, and it's coming. The technological changes are happening faster and faster all the time.
And so you did mention that was key to survival, was basically moving out of a transactional role into a consultative role.
Yes, exactly.
And that's where we come in as the trusted advisors.
CPAs, on any type of surveys that are done, are still the most trusted advisor out there of a finance type advisor. So being that trusted advisor, let's use that base and just expand what we're doing for clients to encompass a lot more than just their tax or their audit.
Exactly, and Jim, you also do some of that yourself.
We do, and one of the things that we believe is that clients want advice, and they want advice from the trusted advisor like Ted mentioned. Those are the things that the CPA of the future is really looking for, and what their clients are looking for.
Ted, I'm a tax guy. Been doing taxes for a lot of years. I used to do everything, got out of the audit business. As I look at this, and how do I move into the area of adding these types of services, I'm concerned with how I might charge for them. Would clients expect me to provide these financial planning and other consultative services for the same fee that I charge just to prepare their tax returns? Can you give me a little bit of guidance as to how I might think about that moving forward?
Sure, in terms of how we're going to move into this area, can we make money in it? And I believe that CPAs can make more money in this type of thing than they've been able to in tax preparation. And I think part of that is a mindset more on the client side than necessarily the CPA side of things. Clients look at tax returns, I believe clients look at tax returns as a necessary evil. The government says I have to do this. So I find somebody out there that can do this, and we've got relationships where maybe we charge more than an H&R Block or somebody else, but at some point clients are going to say, well, I just want it done cheaply. I have to get it done. This type of thing, the consultative, let's get into the more financial planning aspects where we're talking about retirement planning or education planning for their kids, or a lot of other type of planning, insurance planning, all those types of things that they don't get that advice in. And when we move into that area, I think clients are going to look at that as this is unique. This is something I haven't heard from others. This is something that is very valuable to me. And I think they're actually going to help us price that at a higher price than we're able to get for the tax return preparations. Again, this is something that's different. It's going to help them it's going to help their future. It's not something that they must do because the government says they have to do it. And because they're coming to you and they want that advice, it's actually more valuable to them in their minds. And I think as CPAs, we always tend to underprice things, if you will. We never really get our value. I don't believe. I think what we bring to the table, even in tax preparation, is worth a lot more than we're able to get for that tax preparation. So I do believe that we're going to be able to charge a good price, and that clients are willing to pay that price.
Do you see that, Jim, now happening, that more clients are coming to you with more planning and looking ahead? Because it seems to me that in our world, we have a lot of people needing now, especially as we're going more toward the retirement phase.
Deborah, I do. Typically, in financial planning, you have things that pressure points, hurt points, things that really are on their minds of things that they want to get fixed, whether it's their children's going to college. That's the most important thing. Or the fact that one of their parents have just gone into a nursing home. Not just preparing the tax return and not just investments, but there's so many other things that they are concerned about and they don't know what to do. And they just need some help on, even if you don't know, you know who you can go to find out who can help them. And back to one of the questions that Gary had mentioned, it is difficult in finding how you're going to charge those clients, whether it's going to be for the time that you do it or you just build it into a tax preparation. It is difficult, but that is, to me, I believe what the clients are looking for.
So maybe it's a package deal. That that I'm not going to just do your tax return, but we're going to look at a plan of what your goals and objectives are, making sure that you're on track to achieve those goals over the next 5 years, whatever the time frame is.
Exactly.
And it's one price that covers everything.
Ideally, yes.
Okay.
Yes. We're obviously not the only profession that provides tax services. And you mentioned today the disruption that's happening of so many other businesses now moving into that arena. And why don't you give us some examples of other businesses that are encroaching into or beginning to provide tax as a commodity?
Yes, investment places are a major factor. Private investment firms are looking at their clients and saying, we know you have to have a tax return done, but if we have your assets and we're making money on that piece of your life, we'll hire a CPA ourselves and we'll throw your tax return in for free.
Which is major competition for your tax practice.
Indeed.
Yeah. And banks are starting to look into this area. Insurance companies, insurance brokers are starting to look into this area. Again, they're looking at this being a type of commodity, if you will, the tax preparation, and then they're saying, if we can get these other pieces of that person's life, we'll spend a little money here.
Sure.
We'll hire that CPA to do the tax return, and we'll tell the client it's free.
Yeah, it's an added service that they're giving. Right, so that encroaches into what has predominantly been an area that we specialize in the tax world. And CPAs can branch out, and you mentioned niche, whether or not practitioners look at themselves as being general, or do they have a niche? And so you mentioned other niches, not just wealth management, you mentioned IT as a niche as well.
You could be an IT consultant. Computerization's gotten very much involved in our profession. We're using it constantly in many different ways, and new products are coming out all the time. Existing products are being changed. So I think it's very important that you could have that IT consulting as part of your practice in terms of other businesses are experiencing those same things in their business.
Exactly.
So being an expert or having an expert on staff that knows how to handle all those things is where you can add additional revenues to the firm.
And thinking about all of this always leads me back to the younger generations, and they're coming out of school, and you're a tax practitioner. Do you look to hiring younger generations that also are thinking about the IT portion of this and how it affects the accounting and the tax world?
Absolutely. It's a presumption let me say on my part, and I think maybe most of the folks in my generation, that the younger generation coming out of school are going to be much more tech savvy, and it's just a natural fit to hire them and to get into the tech area. When we talk about just how technology is going to change the way we do business, it's just natural that they could see it, they could apply it. They don't have to relearn how to use technology because it's second nature to a young CPA. So it's definite advantage for someone like me that wants to expand in that area to hire somebody that's already second nature.
That's a great point, Gary, because if you look at the younger generation today, the phone is an extension of their fingers. And when we might have gotten new clients by going to social gatherings, or we might have been making phone calls, they're going to get new clients by texting them. They're going to get new clients by using social media. Having that expertise at that young level, we're not going to get new clients the way you and I have gotten them in the past. They're going to get new clients the way they converse with their peers. So you need to bring those young people on if you want to bring in that next generation of clients.
Exactly, and let's face it, the clients that are going to be coming to the firm are not going to be from the older generation. That's their peers.
That's right.
So, they've got to be able to relate to them and to connect with them in order to offer their services and make their peers understand, that this is the way we do business now. We're fully connected, and this is what you need to know about me and what you need to know about financial planning or what you need to know about taxes or whatever. I was recently at a seminar, and the speaker was talking about the difference between generations, and the example was that a lot of us perceive the younger people that always have their phone in their hand as it being a distraction, but the fact is it's a tool, and they use it very much as a tool to stay connected, but also to put themselves out there, services, research, whatever it is. So we have to keep in the mindset of what the next generation uses those things for.
Right.
Well, I think we've had some great discussions, and this could probably go on for a while, because what we are talking about is the disruption of our profession, what we're doing to get ahead of it, what we can foresee as the future of what the CPA profession looks like. And I think most of all what we learn is that it's the trusted advisor. It is the consultative role. We go beyond what the machines and the software and the technology can do. We become the piece that connects to the clients themselves.
Yes.
And it's a very important part of it.
Major. It's what sets us apart.
It does.
It does. And so we provide that value. So to that end, we continue on with the trusted advisor status. And thank you to Ted and Jim and Gary for joining me here today. And we look forward to talking with you again.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.